The goal of PitchCar is to be the first to pass the finish line after a set number of laps. You get there by flicking your disc around the track. There's no set way in the rules to flick. You can choose any finger. If you ever flick your disc off the track or cause your opponent's disc to go off the track, you must put your disc and or your opponent's disc back to where it was before you flicked. Just a quick note about setting up. There are two separate lengths of guardrail strip here. The longer one goes around the curve and the shorter one is for the straight. PitchCar is a legendary board game that has not been readily available in the United States. Thankfully though, because of Eagle Gryphon Games, it is now available. It's a little pricey, but when you get this game, you have to keep in mind that it is manufactured in Europe. So that adds a little bit to the overall price because they pay human wages, unlike where all the other board games are made at. When you open this box, you get your tracks, you get your guardrails, you get your cars, but you do have to put the stickers on them. And the thing that I noticed right away is these tracks are extremely well made. This is a really thin rulebook, and it comes in several different languages, but the one language that matters, which is English, only takes up one page. It's a relatively simple game. You flick your disc or your car around the track. The rules say to do 3 laps, but it's whatever you guys decide. And the first to complete the set amount of laps and fully cross the finish line wins the game. Some flicking games will tell you specifically that you can't use a certain flicking method or flick them up says you can't use your thumb, so you have to use the table and your finger. That a few more times. But with PitchCar, there's no rules, it's just you can use any finger. Also, this game comes with these pieces for building your racetrack. That's nice because not all tables are compatible with flicking games, and that's really not necessarily on the game to worry about, but it is nice when you do have a surface for flicking. So there's these fun decisions on if you're going to use a guardrail or not. We played in the video, in our playthrough video, we set up the last turn didn't have any guardrails, so we would spend a good chunk of the race on that last turn. There's a couple of rules that I've house ruled away. One of them is just saying that if you skip more than 2 track pieces, it doesn't count. I think that it's really, really hard to skip track pieces if you can flick your car off the track and it can land back on face up. That is really hard to do, so I'm okay with rewarding players for taking that risk if they want to try that. What ends up happening is you spend most of your time ramping off like you're on Rainbow Road or Mario 64 and just overshooting or undershooting the other part of the track. So the rules say that you cannot skip more than 2 track parts, 2 track sections. So it'd be like 2 sections. This would count as 2 sections, or one with the, or this. But I think if you set up the course, and everybody agrees, it's worth it to allow players to skip. There's also a variant listed here in the rules that I think is a better way of playing the game. You see in the original rules, when you hit a car off of the track, it's an illegal move, so you and the other car just go back to their original positions. They call it a trash variant, but for me it's way more fun. Being able to hit a car off the track and then that car goes to where your car was when you flicked it. meaning that sometimes you can send people back quite a ways, especially if they have an unlucky string of events where they're in first place and the second player knocks them off. So they go to where the second player was, and then the third player comes and knocks off that first player, and they go from first to fourth. It's hilarious. As mentioned before, this game it's pretty expensive, but I think the build quality more than makes up for it. It also is not readily available, at least the expansions. When we went to buy this game, I was going to just buy all the expansions at once, but they were sold out. But to Eagle Griffin's credit, I sent them an email asking them when they were going to get a restock, and they responded. And they told me how to be alerted when there was a restock. This game has been a lot of fun to bring out for the family. It's good because I can play it with casual board gamers or people who really enjoy the hobby. The Dice Brigade gives PitchCar a wholehearted recommendation, and I would probably rank it at 7 out of 10, 7.5 out of 10. Been putting out a lot of positive reviews lately. I got one more positive review in the tank, and then I know there's a game coming out in the future that I have some real negative things to say about. So stick around, check us out in a couple weeks. We'll be talking about that. But again, I do think that this belongs in any flicking enthusiast library. Until next time, take the initiative and roll out.